other side. This bill was written by 11 very accomplished attorneys, including our own Attorney General. The exceptions are not fake, as you say. They are real. If you're really interested in women, and we did a 2-year study of the damage done to women in the legislature, and we have used that in formulating the bill. This bill has true exceptions, and the thing that we found in the study on the damage done to women by abortion, we are trying to uphold by having this bill. And I would also bring up the fact that this bill was not placed on the ballot this time by the legislature, as we felt the people last time stated that if there were exceptions, they would be for this. The great majority of abortions in South Dakota are done for contraceptive reasons, not for rape, incest, or damage to the mother. And therefore, the bill is there because a lot of people said that they would vote for it for this reason, and therefore it's back there, and it really protects women. If you believe that women who are raped and are victims of incest ought to be raped and have incest continue, then you should. This bill does that. It protects them. So.
And also, being old enough to know before there was a right to have an abortion, people did go and seek abortions. The rich ones could have doctors come to their home to perform them. The poor ones would be co-hangers in backstreet butcher shops. And so as a nurse, I feel that women need a safe place and to have an abortion. I believe women have tried to end pregnancy since the beginning of time, using herbs, different techniques. And so this, and like Gary said earlier, just because it's illegal is not going to stop it. And so a woman with her family and her doctor needs the right to be able to make this decision for themselves. I'm not for abortion. I wouldn't choose one for myself. But I think women deserve better than to be. And this law is also, like I said earlier, about how people talk out both sides of their mouth. It's a very bad law. It says that women can have it for their health. Yes, if their organ's about to die. So the doctor has to let you get to that point where your organs are just about to die before you can perform an abortion. That's not a pro-woman bill. Oh, you have to get the police involved. The women have to file reports of rape or incest. And you're going to have the police running around trying to find who these men were. Of course, that in her desperation, that she may indeed make it up. It's not a friendly bill. I think it's very anti-woman, and it's also very deceitful because it's pretending to be one thing and it's quite another. And also, for what are we doing to help women once they have these babies? We're all pro-life, but yet we're spending trillions of dollars in Iraq, killing and destroying lives, and I'm sure there's some embryos being destroyed also at that time. So, as a nurse, like I said, I come from this point that I see people suffer all the time that are actually here and living. And we need to do more for those people so that they would be able to choose to have the baby, to have given for adoption.
At least to attend when I'm on.
I want to go back to measure attention just a minute, but I would say that I would suggest strongly that everybody try to attend the forum that Reverend Gentleman just talked about, because what you need to be armed with is facts. There's a lot of, as Mr. Smith said, emotion involved with this issue. And I don't know that I've ever heard a rational, non-emotional debate on the issue, because almost everyone comes to that with some type of emotion. As Mr. Hargan said, I don't think there's anybody in this room that supports abortion at will, but we need to be armed with facts. And one of those facts is that the State Medical Society just came out yesterday and on record against this measure. And they didn't do that 2 years ago, which is kind of interesting. I urge everybody to read that article in yesterday's journal about that and reasons why. But back to Measure 10 for just a minute. We are 50th in the nation, as we are in a lot of other categories, but we are 50th in the nation in terms of having an open government. And one of the reasons I think why Measure 10 came to fruition is because people can't get information from state government. We have basically a secret government. And when you go back to the issue of funding education and talking about where the funds from gambling go, I hear that at the doors all the time too, and so people don't really know. There's been some explanation of it, and perhaps that's correct, but people just don't know it, and they have trouble getting that information. We had a bill in last year's session sponsored by Nancy Turback-Perry from Watertown to open government. It was an excellent bill. It was killed for whatever reason. That shouldn't have been. We are 50th in the nation on that. We are the least open government in the United States of America. We need to get open, but I'm opposed to Measure 10 because it goes too far and it's basically a gag law. Thank you.
I'm not for abortion, and I haven't against the old one. And so I get up to speak on a level that most of us are dealing with, is the emotional level. We have doctors in the audience who can tell you the technical things, but I'll tell you some things I've learned about abortion. Number one is I am seeking the man who was involved in this. I say we prosecute him and good. You know, that'll help. That's some good education. If you pull this off and you run off from that girl, we'll come and get you. And they need to be got. They have a responsibility, and we need to go after them that way too. But I'll tell you, human life is the most important thing we've got. You know, we can replace anything else on this earth except for life. And it cannot be so inconsequential or so of no value that we're willing to kill those kids. Now, there's 830 some of them every year. And would you like to go through that procedure? I say if we can't come up with something better, we better quit doing that, because that doesn't work. If we can get a man to the moon and bring him back, we can sure come up with a better idea than killing little kids. And I say, as Americans, that's what we stand for, is human life. Now, what are we doing? 1973. 1973. We can't come up with a better idea. I challenge you today, let's not sit back and go for this goofy nonsense that we have to have it when there's so many other things we can do. My time's winding down, so don't abort me right yet, okay? I'm just kidding. But guys, let's think this thing on. We can do better than this. This is America. And I say, let's stand up and charge this thing and stop the nonsense and stop the killing. One last thing. I studied Nazi history. Very interesting, because I wanted to see if any of my ancestors were enjoying it at that time. Couldn't find a proof of that. But I want to tell you, what I did find is the rhetoric is the same. I am shocked that America talks that way and uses the same language that Hitler and the boys used. Folks, check me out and see I'm telling you the truth. But America, let's go on for something better.
Measure 11 keeps coming back year after year after year. It keeps getting put on the ballot. And I want you to take a look around the room. I want you to take a look at everybody that's here. If you look at everybody that's here, there is not a single one of us that believes in abortion. However, if by outlawing abortion, how many of you think that's going to stop abortion? Millions and millions of dollars get spent every year to try and outlaw abortion. Outlawing it will not stop it, okay? We all know that. Because if outlawing stuff worked, there would be nobody on meth, there would be nobody drinking underage, there would be nobody on any type of drug. It's not going to stop it. Instead of spending millions and millions of dollars to bring this issue back every year and have people vote on it, let's spend that money on upgrading sex education in high school, teaching kids responsibility for their sexual behavior, and maybe let's even have parenting classes in the high schools. Because let's face it, if you forgot what it was like to be a teenager, I'm sorry, your kids and grandkids that are teenagers, they are experimenting with sex. Let's be responsible. Let's be safe.